Had me in your possession, had you swimming inside my affection. But with you, I came second, so I cut off the connection. And now you're calling me.
Hello everybody and welcome back to This Messy Business. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you're stopping by today. We have a lot to get done before we head into the work week. It's actually my last week with my seniors. For those of you who don't know, I am a high school English teacher by trade. I have been teaching this is the end of my 11th year, which feels really crazy. I started teaching at 21, so it's the end of a whole decade. It's wild. But the whole house is kind of trashed. It's just that time of the year. I saw a meme the other day where they called it Maycember. So if you're a mom and an educator, or one or the other, it's just May is kind of like having December 2.0. There's just so many things happening. And my husband also injured his foot playing basketball. He ruptured his plantar fasciitis, which I didn't even know you could do that, but he ended up in a boot. So he hasn't been able to be super mobile. He is starting to definitely get a lot better and will hopefully be returning back to work soon. But you can see here, we've got just piles. I don't know why that's our thing, but we always just kind of make these doom piles that we have to sift through. Even down in the basement, as we head on down here, there's laundry in the laundry room. It took me several days to get that caught back up, and I was washing all of the outdoor cushion covers. So there's that. The sensory playroom. This is always just sort of, kids live here. I don't know what to tell you. Harper was having a tea party. You can see all of her cute little dollies all lined up with their food, and she was making a meal. She has 2 shopping carts now, so she's a very busy gal. Even our guest room has some piles in it. We've kind of been migrating all of my husband's clothes down into that bedroom closet because we don't have a ton of space. I found these on sale, these square things at Lowe's for like $1 each. They're usually $14 each, and they're pre-made picture moldings that you can kind of put in your house. And since our house has no character, I really want to use those. So let's get started getting this house caught up and reset before we head into the work week with, of course, as always, dishes.
Already gone. You had your shot, but you went about it all wrong. Tried to pull you in close, eyes were locked on your phone. Now you're sour, cause I'm moving on. Oh, you're showing up at my door, holding your heart there.
Honestly, I think that doing dishes is probably my least favorite part of keeping up with the house. I try to do a load every single night and then unload it the next day and reload it. But I don't know why we gotta feed these kids every single day. I'm just kidding. You do have to feed them every day, and we love it. But if you are a family that's neurodivergent, you know that sometimes it takes like 3 or 4 meals before you get them to actually consume one whole one. So it feels like I'm constantly going through these little tiny plates and all these cups and these same 3 pans. Right now we are in a major pasta butter noodle season, so I try to sneak in some more protein. That's kind of a big one for us, is really trying to hit the protein. And so I found spaghetti noodles that are protein based, or we have, instead of just chocolate milk, we have protein powder chocolate milk. So just trying to get protein into the kids, especially when they love carbs so much, and they've even burned themselves out on chicken nuggets, which, that's kind of the universal symbol for neurodivergent kids. If you know, honestly. And chicken nuggets, I'm not mad at them, but we are in a phase right now where we don't eat those. We like hot dogs. My son likes hot dogs a lot, and we're trying to swap out, the less healthy hot dogs, like the 98-cent ones from Walmart, for maybe kind of some higher quality ones, but he's not really falling for it, so we might just have to eat the cheap hot dogs. It's just a season, it's a phase. He also went through a phase where he would only eat white food, so this isn't that bad, and that's fine, but it does take us a lot of trial and error. I think that's where a lot of our grocery money ends up going. I'm like, I hope that they'll try this time, and it's hit or miss. Mostly miss, if I'm being totally honest. He does like to make his own eggs, though. That's been kind of a fun development. So you can see there's this, he likes this particular pan to make his eggs in. My daughter likes to help him. So her favorite thing is to add way too much salt to her eggs so she can't eat them. But she has a lot of fun putting the salt on. It just, I don't really notice until it's too late how much she's put on there. So here we are, just doing dishes. I think this is probably the third time today that I've done dishes. And, that's fine. We're so grateful that we have food to eat, that we have this option, that we have a lovely home that we can make our food in.
Like crying over the love that you had. Maybe next time, maybe next time you'll hold on to what you have. No, you don't get to show up, teary-eyed saying I'm all you want. Maybe next time, maybe next time you won't sleep on a good love. Keep.
Recently, I had somebody ask me why I decided to kind of start making YouTube videos, and I recognize that, it's mostly my mom and my grandma and my sister watching these, but really it's just, I felt as though I needed a creative option to kind of showcase and I guess journal in a sense the where we're at right now in our season of life, because I know one day I will look back on this and I will miss this. I'm certain that I will. But it does feel so busy and chaotic, and we're moving so much and doing so much all the time that I have this fear of missing some of it and not remembering these small moments, like, my daughter falling asleep with her hand in mine, or my son's excitement over getting stairs for his room so the dogs can get on the bed with him. Those things fade. I know that I'm going to forget those things. But if I have this vlog or this YouTube channel that kind of exists on the internet, and I have these videos that are downloaded to, a hard drive, I can, maybe look back on these one day and I might cringe, honestly, like, oh my gosh, look at me doing my dishes. But I might also be like, wow, like, I remember those days. I think there's a country song, that's like, you're going to miss this, you're going to want this back. And I do think a lot of the time that that's true. I remember my son when he was a little tiny guy. He did not sleep through the night. It was so hard. Everything felt so hard. And now as I look at videos of his little baby laugh and his smile, you realize you can't go back. You can't go back in time. And so I just thought this might be a way for me to document that and kind of, also have a creative outlet. I love to write and create, but it is sort of challenging when you've got 2 kids and you have a full-time job plus multiple side hustles. It's just, I just want to remember. It's so easy to forget.
I could have been all yours, but you're out of chances. No, you don't get to come back. Crying over the love that you had. Maybe next time, maybe next time you'll hold on to what you have. No, you don't get to show up, teary-eyed saying I'm all you.
All right, so we finally have the dishes all done, and I love the stainless steel sink. I love the one big basin at our house before this one. We were renters before this. I owned a house in Grand Junction when I was in college in my first part of my teaching career, and then since we moved to Denver, we were renting because we weren't 100% sure what area we wanted to land in. And so I feel like I've had the split sinks, the shallow split sinks forever. And this deep sink, like, this was definitely a selling feature. If you watch my first video that I made on my channel about updating our kitchen, you could see that they fixed the countertops, beautiful countertops, new sink, new faucet, but did absolutely nothing else. So I painted that backsplash. I look forward to replacing it with some gorgeous stacks of wood tile eventually. But I painted all these cabinets, installed new hardware, did all of that in that very first video. I'm super proud of that. I did like 98% of it on my own, which was very time consuming and super hard. But here we go. We got the whole kitchen cleaned up so you can kind of see the updates. I installed new light fixtures. across the board, so both in the ceiling and above the sink, painted that backsplash, painted the cabinets, painted the back door. It's amazing what paint can do. And then kind of updated this. You can see I'm also watching a YouTube video. I love to body double. That's actually where I started watching YouTube videos, and I would struggle with having that motivation and that overwhelm. Here's the built-ins that I'm working on. I did get a lot more done with those, so you'll see those in an upcoming video. I got the toe kick installed and finally painted that final white door because it was goofy that I just left it white. But you know, you get tired. So finally coming back and addressing the huge piles in my son's room. This is all of their laundry. There's so much laundry. And I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather open up the dryer and it's a load of, you know, towels or something than have to do this like giant load of tiny, tiny children's clothes. They're so small. And, you know, like 18 leggings equals one towel, and it's a lot. You know, always managing the clothes and the ingoing and outgoing and knowing which side. That's the mental load that a lot of people don't even realize that moms or the default caregiver bears. Like right now, you can see me, I'm looking through her drawers like, okay, what? This is a lot of winter stuff. That is already too small. Those are too short. These are too worn out. And just having to process through clothing. One of my best friends gave us a ton of clothes. She has 2 daughters who are a couple years older than Harper, so it's perfect. I have not purchased clothes for her beyond like a special occasion outfit, or if she needs one for, you know, a certain situation, which is pretty much never. Even her Easter dress, my friend gave us. So I'm so grateful for that. And we just have this like back stock of clothes, just always managing these things. And then my son, of course, has kind of the same thing. He has so many clothes. We're getting his bed remade, getting it set back up. He has all these different things that he loves. He loves Jurassic Park. He loves Sonic. And he loves this like heavy quilt. I believe my mother-in-law got this for him. And Harper has a matching pink one. They are really nice. They're from Butter Barn Kids. So they're very lovely. I like them a lot. I am looking forward to the summer when I repaint his room. I'm going to add board and batten, and he picked out a Sonic blue color for his walls. So I have to figure out how to make that really unique to him, but also not garish. So we're not going to paint the whole wall all the way up, but about 75% of the way up. And then I will redo his dresser as well then. Moving downstairs, this is, you know, we have kids, we live here, and they love to play downstairs. This is kind of their domain. This is where we keep our TV. Otherwise, we don't really have a TV on the main level besides the tiny Alexa in the kitchen and the one in our bedroom. So we use this down here for the kids a lot so that they can watch their movies. And I've acquired 2 separate DVD players and neither of them have worked. So I'm gonna have to just order a regular DVD player from Amazon because we have a collection of DVDs and our PlayStation does use the DVDs. I would just rather have something that does not also have access to YouTube or Netflix or whatever, so that the kids are just, they're watching their movie and when the movie's over, they're all done. It's like the 90s was prime time for great DVDs and kind of that start to finish feeling versus I feel like as I watch my kids on different streaming services, you know, it's what's next versus, you know, allowing them to feel inspired by the story that they just saw and able to go in, you know, enact play or, you know, talk together about it. Or even, you know, if it's a Friday night, we like to have a movie night, just going to bed, right? Because then the next movie's not popping up in front of them. It's just, it's over. And my daughter really, really gets a kick out of the trailers. She loves the like lead up to the movie, you know, the epic like coming soon to Disney sound. She loves that. She thinks that's so much fun. So she will sometimes just sit and watch trailers on loop, which is fine. I think that was like the early like short form video creation, right? But here she is. She's also helping me out with the cleaning. I actually remember where Lincoln was at. I think he was upstairs during this. But she's helping. She's putting her DVDs away on her shelf over there. You can see her little shopping cart. She went shopping for different things. This is the next day. I only got half of the room done, and then she wanted to play kitchen and play house, and so I decided to pause cleaning and do that with her. That's way more important than whether or not I got all the toys put away. Is engaging and just enjoying her and where she's at right now. So here we go. Let's get this put back together after we played kitchen and baby restaurant.
I could have been all yours, but you're out of chances. No, you don't get to come back. Crying over the love that you had. Maybe next try, maybe next time you'll hold on to what you have. No, you don't get to show up. Teary-eyed saying I'm all you. I could have been all yours, but you're out of chances. No, you don't get to come back. Crying over the love that you had. Maybe next try, maybe next time you'll hold.
Always oscillate between whether or not I should get rid of this little white table. They used it a lot at our old house. It was one of their favorite things, but my son he's actually really tall. I mean, my dad is like 6'4", 6'5", probably in his high school prime time, and my son's already taller than most third graders, but he's only in first grade. So I think he's like 4'4" or something like that. And I mean, I'm not tiny. I'm 5'10", so he's going to be tall, which lucky him. That's great. But he doesn't really fit under this anymore. Harper does love to use it when she's playing kitchen, but we also literally have a table right next to it. So anytime I've tried to get rid of it though, they kind of freak out and it just doesn't seem worth it since they do use it and she does play there. She likes to do her crafts and paint there also. So, maybe at the end of the summer, it'll be time to say goodbye to it and gift it to another family. We also have 2 of those Pottery Barn Anywhere chairs that they're both also getting too big for, that we might need to kind of look into sharing those with another family. Here we are making our way upstairs. I don't think I've ever actually shown the entire main level bathroom. This is actually the primary bathroom that we all use. When we looked at the house, they actually only showed this part of the bathroom. So it was just this tiny vanity and the tub, and that was it. And so whoever was taking the photos for the listing did not do a great job, because there's that giant pantry that's in there. I do wish they would have arranged it differently, like swapped where the toilet is with the sink and put a wider, longer vanity with more storage. That would have made so much more sense. It's very awkward that the toilet is like immediately right there when you walk in. But it does work. You can't clutter up the counter if there's no room to put stuff on the counter. So that's, honestly, let's look at it as a benefit. I think it's also the original tile. We don't have record or know for sure, but this isn't a style that they've done in new remodels in a very long time. So we're pretty sure. We know the tub is original. The flooring is not. It's the same flooring that I absolutely despise and loathe that is in our kitchen. And when a really amazing guy came and deep cleaned and sealed the tile, he was so kind. He knows that I'm a teacher and on that teacher budget life. He also did the bathroom, and I didn't ask him to. I tipped him extra for doing that. It was so kind of him. He said it took him an extra 5 minutes is all, and he already had all the stuff out. So it was just really kind of him to do that. And even he said, he's like, this is some of the worst tile that you could pick to put in these like 2 high traffic areas. I was like, yeah, right. So maybe we'll do like a peel and stick tile over it or something, but it's so textured that I don't even know if those would hold or if I would just constantly be cleaning those more. So our goal one day is to eventually just kind of tear a lot of this out and make it more functional. Even if we leave the 1950s original tile, I'm pretty sure it's original, and swapped the toilet and the vanity, the tile runs behind the vanity, which is part of the reason we think that it's original to the house. And then put in some new flooring and actually put in a vanity setup that makes sense. but that is not in the budget right now, and it's also pretty low priority. It does function really well. There is plenty of storage. It's got this little cutout thing. You can see it's kind of behind me here, where I can keep like my lotions and potions. And I do have some plans to update it over the summer. Like I've already replaced the mirror and the light fixture over the mirror. I've also have some plans to replace the one that's in the ceiling. It's a boob light, and those are ugly. And I would like something that's a little bit more flush mount and get that up out of the way. I also have all the cabinet paint left over from the kitchen, and I picked the colors in the kitchen because it felt like they would work really well in the whole house. So I will use probably the white, I would guess, in here. And then I found a really cool wallpaper, and I've only done peel and stick wallpaper before, and I think this is like legit wallpaper. So I want to get that, and it has a gorgeous pattern that goes with the colors of the tile, and I think would give it some character. Our house just feels very flat to me. You know, it does have this cool tile, but it's kind of ruined by the floor tile, or it's like it's brown. It's not even a fun like pink or something. And then our basement bathroom has the original white and yellow tile, but it is incredibly damaged. So that bathroom, when we have the budget for it, will be one that we're going to fix up and make it functional until then, but it will be one that does probably have to be completely pulled out. There's a bunch of the tiles in there that are just split in half that they used caulking or extra grouts to kind of stick them back together, and it looks pretty terrible, and it's all kind of starting to come away from the wall. So that's unfortunate. The stuff up here in the main level is holding up really, really well. And I do love vintage things. I have a mid-century modern lean in a lot of my decorations. My grandma, she lives in South Dakota, is one of our favorite things to do when I was growing up and we would go for the summer was to go to the antique stores. So I think that's where I get my love for it. These little containers that I have, I found when I was thrifting, and I like to put our Epsom salt in there, and my kids love bath bombs, so they just get a kick out of them. So I buy this massive pack on Amazon every 6 months, and I just restock them in this little jar that goes on the back of the toilet. I'm sure there's probably like a more aesthetic way that I could put those in there, but I love these vintage jars. I just think they're really cool. I'm sure you used to put like your flour or something in it, but we put our bath bombs and our cotton balls. It works. You need to store them. It's cuter than the bag at least. And I did get this rattan, whatever, shelf from the kids section at Target for $40, and I think it works perfectly right there. I love plants, so these plants are some of my starters that I'm getting going so I can put them in. It's a really small, kind of narrow space. This is that cutout. I think I'm going to take the doors off and repaint it, and then I could put perfumes, and a lot of the bottles for my makeup products are actually really cute, so display them there. I don't think I've ever actually wiped down all of this tile since we've moved in. So here we are doing it. We don't ever actually even use that towel bar either. I know that's really weird, but we like to hang our towels. You can see Harper in the mirror. That's her mirror. She wants her own so she can do her makeup. And so she's in the mirror chatting with me, telling me what she was up to. And we're getting this all cleaned up. It doesn't really take long. The whole thing can just be wiped down. I use a couple different rags when I'm cleaning, so don't worry about that. I am trying to reduce our paper towel usage just because everything right now is so expensive. Oh my gosh. I have the most basic order from Sam's Club and it's still $175. And I do grocery pickup or delivery so that I cut down on impulse spending because, goodness, you get me into a Costco or a Sam's Club, I'm going for the clothes. I'm like, oh, what crew necks do I need? Obviously, I need more crew necks. Or, ooh, look at these joggers. I need more of those. And the reality is like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I have gone the entire school year without repeating a single outfit. I do not need more clothes. I just love the dopamine hit of buying clothes, and then I keep them forever. Like this Harvard sweatshirt I'm wearing right here, I've had since 2017 when I took my speech and debate team to the Harvard tournament. Those, like my joggers I'm wearing are from my college. My husband got them for me our first Christmas together in 2016. Like, I keep stuff, and I keep it well, so it's like I admit I don't need any more clothes. But I love them. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got all the main areas set, ready to go for another work week. And please make sure to like and subscribe if you had any fun along the journey today, or if you are my mom or grandma. Make sure to like or subscribe and join me next time for more cleaning inspiration.